I've had a request come in for me to do the straight ball routine and talk you through it as I'm working through my thought process. This is a routine that I've shared on my channel before. It's straight ball, so we break the balls open as normal, and then from there we pop the balls in any order we like, any pocket we like, and we keep going until we miss. Once we miss, the routine stops and we add up our score. We get 1 point for every ball we pot, and then, as I said, once you miss, that's routine over. If you do manage to clear all 15 balls, then you rack them up again, cue ball behind the line, and then that's a free shot. You don't have to make a ball, you just have to not pot the cue ball or keep the cue ball on the table, and then you start the routine again. So you just keep going until you get your high score. I used to do this quite a lot when I was practicing. I would do it pretty early on in my practice sessions, and I never really challenged myself to get a high score, so I don't really know what I can score. I used to do one, maybe 2 racks just to get my cue arm going, and then I would do a different routine and move on. But today I am going to do a genuine one take, see what I can score, and then I'd love to hear from you guys, see if you can beat the score I set, because I'm not expecting too much from myself, that's for sure. But let's give it a go, see what I can do, and see what we can score. Well, a decent break, but the cue ball tracked all the way to the top of the table, and I'm now awkward on a first ball, so that's my first worry. I don't have any other choice but to take the red into the centre pocket. The problem I have with that, I'm going to be flicking into that yellow, and I may not get another ball, so I need to get into this somehow. Well, let's see, I'm going to have to just play this with a little bit more pace, try and get onto the yellow I'm nudging. Yeah, brushed off that one. So now I start to think about problem areas. Where do I need to play some cannons? And these 3 at the top, they're fine, but it's just how I work out how I get down the table. And I quite like playing on this ball on the rail in a couple of shots time. That allows me to get into this area here, and then it would just need one little consideration on those 2 balls there, but there's a lot of balls in the way yet before I get that far. So take this to the corner and just come back to the middle of the table. I'll have a choice of 2. Not perfect on the yellow, so I'm going to take the red, and I want to leave an angle on this yellow to be able to get across to this side of the table, because I want to play that yellow down the rail, getting me into this area here. So I'm just going to try and make sure I leave myself that angle. Yeah, good little angle now. Let's just get this tracking towards the centre pocket. Okay, top half of the table done. Now I need to just start to think it through here. I'm on this one, drop that one down, can play on the red. That allows me to get through. These 2 are my major concern. I can't do anything about it for the next couple of shots. If I get on this one to get onto the red, it opens up things. It allows me to get on that one into the centre, and that allows me to get onto a choice of 8 ball in here, or a couple of yellows in here, and I'll be looking for that angle just to be able to work those out as quickly as I can. Rattled, but it dropped. Just rolled through a shade further than I would like. I'm going to be just flicking into the 8 ball here, so I could end up in an awkward situation, but I'm just going to play the drop-in shot, because I want to be on that red in the centre. Yeah, it's not too bad. Do have a problem that I'm thinner on this red than I want it to be. I need it to be straight, and I'm not. So the path of the cue ball is coming here, and you can see anywhere in this area here, I just don't have a shot at all. Nothing goes. So I'm actually in an awkward position You know, if I roll it through, I've got this yellow into that pocket, but that's going to be awkward. But even if I come to this side of the table, I'm still awkward. So I'm in a bad spot here. I've not worked these out particularly well. So I'm going to have to screw this in and try and cannon the yellow, leave myself on 8-ball or the yellow to the centre. Actually managed to get into that a lot more than I thought. I thought I was going to be high on it and cannoning it maybe full ball towards the corner pocket, but I'm happy with the result. Left myself a nice little angle, and now I can really turn my attention to my problem that I haven't solved yet. And what do I need to do? That's a nice ball here, that yellow, pop that in there, come into these two here. Going to have a variety of options here if I don't develop one of the balls I'm going into. So that's the plan. Just on and off the cushion with the cue ball. I think that's a good little angle. Yeah, happy with that. Just trying to work out, am I going to avoid the red, which would be nice, and come off the cushion first? It's awfully tight. I think I am just clipping the red. But I've got a choice of balls into the middle pocket anyway, so it should be okay if I clip the red first. Oh, I managed to get to the cushion first, which is perfect, exactly what I wanted. And now they're all open. I just have to work it through. A little close to the yellow I'm on now, with an angle I'm not, you know, is a bit of a delicate one to pop that and screw back. So I'm going to drop this one into the centre, and then I've got a choice of, well, I can pot all four from where I leave it. Yeah, I like that. 8 balls tight. I do have enough of the pocket to pot it if I stun this into that corner, but if I stun it in and pull the white back a fraction, I've got the red or the yellow. Just punch this in. I'd rather be on the yellow than the 8 ball, but punch this in and try and get as straight on it as possible. Not quite as straight as I would like on that yellow. I could take these in either order really. Just going to take the 8 ball first and screw back on and off the cushion. So frame 1 done. Okay, I didn't give that break the full treatment because I am worried about the cue ball, and even then I got the cue ball a little closer to the pocket than I wanted. Don't want to give it away now that I'm in 15 points to the good. Obvious first ball would be this yellow, but that's going to leave me an angle on this ball, be quite straight on it, and I've not got a good ball to go back down the table then, so I'm actually going to accept a slightly harder pot to start with and drop this one in to leave me on that one, and I can get into this cluster of problem balls and worry about these 3 at the top later on. It's a bit of a safety valve as well, because if I can leave myself somewhere a bad angle, I've got choices at the top of the table, just to sort of safety. So if I take that red to the corner, and the white's going to be coming on this line here, so it's going on and off there. I'm on this one to the corner. If it comes a fraction too far, got this yellow into the centre as well, so I have got choices, which is always something I'm looking for. Okay, held that one okay. I'm actually on a choice of both. I could take the yellow to the centre, but I prefer this one to the corner. It gets me onto this red to the centre pocket, and then they all need to sort of be taken in a nice little order. They'll all unpick each other. They'll all reveal itself if I just pick them off one at a time. I don't need any big cannons or anything like that. I can just work my way through this one. I'm on the red as I wanted. Just going to bring this one back. Got the yellow to this corner. If I overhit it, I've got yellow in that corner, which is actually a better choice of shot, but I'm worried if I come, what my thinking is to come back for perfect. If I come back too far, I'm not on anything, whereas if I came, say, here, take that to the corner, I can stun that in and nudge into the yellow, leaves me a choice. So I've got options on the next positional shot. I've actually come back to a really nice spot, happy with that. Only thing I'm considering, I'm dead straight now, so if I stop this one in, I just want to be on this red to the centre, just want to make sure I'm not hampered cueing, you know, Chinese snooker or anything like that. So dropping this in dead weight, slightly harder angle on the pot, but I can hit the centre of the cue ball, which is exactly what I want, and I'm going into the yellow full ball, so I'm controlling the white with the yellow, just have to make the pot. And see how these are just unfolding nicely, just picking them off one at a time. Angle on that yellow is taking me this angle here, which isn't ideal, and that red is leaving me thin, so neither perfect. And of course I could take the 8-ball first, which is, it just feels unnatural, but is the right shot for opening these up. Just drop these in. Definitely something not to forget for this this practice routine is don't forget you can take the 8-ball at any time. And I'm just going to come on and off the cushion. I'll have a choice of 4 or 5 balls off this one. And everything is just unfolding nicely. Would love to have been straight so I could just hold for the red in the centre pocket, and then I drop that in, the yellow comes in here, and then I got 3 at the top. I've got a lot more angle than I wanted, but that's not a big problem. I can just control the white into the middle of the table. I'm going to be on a choice of this yellow to this corner here, or potentially the yellow to the corner here, and then I can pick which way I want to go about the clearance from there. So get myself back into good shape. Held the cue ball a lot further than I expected. I was dying that in, trying to hold the cue ball, thinking it would be here, and I'm a foot short of what I expected. But because I left these 3, if you remember at the start of the frame, I left these 3 alone. I've now got my safety valve, this yellow to the corner. I would still like to get back to here, but I'm now considering, do I drop this in, play the red first, then the yellow, and then just be able to get on this one to this corner. I think that's my choice. First shot in nearly 2 frames that I've played with any sort of side spin, just to trace the side, just to get myself a fraction straighter on this red. I'm not really happy with the way I've left these 2 as my last 2 balls, because they're a little bit awkward, because that yellow can block the red, but it's the way I've gone about it. I can still recover. The yellow actually does pass the red, but it's only half a pocket, so I'm thinking, because I've left a little bit more angle on this yellow than I wanted to be able to just drop in and be able to sort of come on this line here for that yellow, but I can actually come down the table, and anywhere from about here to about there, I'm fine. So that's my choice. And I'm back in decent enough shape. So just drop this one in, yellow to the corner. So not a layout I'm particularly happy with, really disappointed leaving those two because that could have gone awkward. I would rather have got rid of the one that was causing all the problems, that yellow earlier. In fact, I'd rather have got rid of them both and then come up for those three as my last three balls, but had to evolve because I left myself too thin on this yellow down here. So it was a pattern that I was not proud of, but it evolved and I was still able to get out. Okay, 30 points to the good. Let's see, don't give it away with a bad break. Keep the control of the cue ball more than power. Yeah, decent enough break that. Nice as well, nice little split, no bad clusters. Nice even split across the table. And a nice little starter as well. Yellow to the corner leaves me on this red. And then I'm going to do the same as I did on the previous frame. I'm going to leave three at the top end of the table as a sort of safety valve. So I'm going to clear these two and then go down the table and start to work out my routine from there. Nice little angle on this red. I can work out that if I drift into the center of the table, I've got that red to the corner. I'd like to be on this red to that corner. That's what I want to do. But if I don't come far enough, then that red gets me out of trouble. Well, I'm a long way short. Probably potted that a fraction of thick. I wanted to be here, not here. So I could use my safety valve if I want to, or I can continue to go down the table. I just like having that safe area just to recover if I get a bad angle, and this red isn't that difficult, so I can pop that red, come down for the red at the bottom. Now all these go, just have to work out your order. That red goes past the yellow to the center pocket. The yellow goes independently of the red as well, so there's no real problems here. Just going to stun into the gap. And I'm on the yellow now, which is nice. Just get it out the way. So now I'm in a position where I just can work out the order I want to take these in. These are all nice. If I can take that one in, I want to leave myself straight on that one to get on that one into that corner. Then this yellow comes into the middle, leaves me on the 8-ball, and then this yellow gets me up the table, leaves me on either this one on the rail or a choice. So these are all straight pots. If I manage to, these are all straight pots from here actually. I just have to drop this one in. I just want to make sure if I leave myself where the 8-ball is, then I'm not going to be going up the table. So just to roll through a fraction, just to leave myself with a nice angle, just to drift up the table. Not a big deal if I'm short, but always looking for perfect. Well, talked about being short. I am short. Could have done with just a roll more, so that the moment I'm straight, I'm going to hit this jaw with a cue ball if I topped it through. I want it to be just that shade more, so that I'm coming on that line. I'm coming down the line of the ball to the top of the table. I don't have that now, so it's just working out whether I want to drop it in. I can take that one to the corner and come back, or I want to leave myself an angle on one of those two to be able to get back up. Personal preference from here. Depends how comfortable you are with those shots to the corner, I guess. So I took the red there because I was screwing back into an area where I was going to be on the choice of both of them. It was giving me all the margin in the world. Okay, didn't really hit them that hard. Again, trying to control that cue ball. What are my problems? What do I need to work out? These yellows go. I need to get the cue ball here to open up those. That makes that one more open. So they work themselves out. I'm on this one on the rail now. So do I play it now and will I get better on it? Probably not. So that's a good way of playing it. I could drop it in, get the cue ball back, and then I can try and get to that. I'd love to get there early, so I can then do what I want to do on those. So backing myself to make this tricky one down the rail. Plenty of margin on the positional side. Just caught the near jaw, but it has dropped in, which I'm happy about, obviously. Have an angle on this one where I could actually play into them, but I'm not guaranteed to be on my next ball. It's not the right way for me to play this. I'm not straight enough on the yellow to top through to the area I'm talked about. I could play the red to that area, which is probably the way I think I'm going to go on it, but I kind of wanted to leave that red for later on, drop that in to play on this one on the rail. So I'm just having to sort of reassess, do I look for a different route because I want to leave that one there? Can I hold, if I drop that one in, can I hold on that line here to top it through and get straight? I possibly can. It is, no, it's just a shade too much. Just thinking if I rest on that yellow, take that one, rest on that yellow, I can play the one at the bottom, and then this yellow would be here. I have to get that one out of the way to be able to open up those, so it's still not a great idea. I don't really like where I finished with the cue ball here. Had margin of error, but I was still needed to be precise and pick a point, and I didn't do that, so that's an error on my part. And lesser of two evils is take the red. I'm going to try and come down into this area here and land where I wanted to. Well, I thought the bottom one of those two, I thought I checked to go, but it now looks tight. I think it does go. I'm going to play it. Just don't leave myself straight on the next ball. That's the thing. Enough angle. Just pop this in, get up onto the next one. Now choices, which way do I want to mop these up? Need to take them in a nice order so they all unfold, because they're kind of all in a line and could be awkward. like this yellow in the center, gets me onto this one, that lets me to get back to here, ideally on the red, because that opens up this one, but I've got plenty of balls to play on. I quite like that way. Would want it to be a little straighter to play on the red, so I'm going to come up a little bit higher, try and be on the 8-ball. Now I'm on the 8-ball, top through, just so I can get past the red to clear the one nearest the pocket. Consideration has to turn, of course, to where I land to be able to mop up these last 4. They're not as easy as they look. Ideally be on the one on the rail first to be able to get back out and make sure I have an angle to get onto those ones. That's what I want to do. So from these 4, I want to get to here. Which ball would be the easiest to do that with? I quite like, I'm going to come on and off the cushion. I'm going to come into this area here. I can, if I'm straight on this one to the corner, take that in, leave myself straight on that one to the corner, and then I can leave myself high so I can come on and off the cushion, or I could go low and then I can stun up the line. It gives me margin of error, and I've got a choice of which way I want to play it, and it will depend on the angle I have when I get there. So let's try and get to this area here on this yellow. That's what I'm looking for. Not bad. Not bad at all. Just off angle, but I can hold, stun it in and get the cue ball to here, be on the perfect line. Now pick my, make my decision. We know that straight isn't great because you'd have to screw on and off the cushion. A shade low I quite like, it just allows me to stun up that area. If I'm high, I've got 2 choices. I can play a bit of running side and come up the line, or 2 cushions to come to here, but I much prefer it from low. So if I'm here, I'm perfect, so just top through. If I do finish straight, then I can screw on and off. I don't want to, but I can. What I don't want to do is leave myself just off straight the wrong way, so make sure I go past straight. Yeah, definitely past straight. Lovely little angle. I'm now screwing on the line, so my target would be that red if it was to continue its path. I've actually got the lovely angle to do that, and I've just got to pace control this one. And I'm happy with that. What I'm thinking here is take this one, get back to the middle of the table. I want to be fairly straight on this one. If I drop that in, that leaves me a lovely angle here. Take that one to the middle. The cue ball is coming on that line there, so it's coming down the line to that yellow. That would be perfect, but may have to reassess depending on the angle I leave on the next ball. Need to make a good pot down the rail first. Happy with that, straight to the corner, so now I can pick the angle I want. So I'm in a position where I can, if I'm shorter, I could just screw it in. If I'm somewhere, I've got a choice. So I just want to, I can play on and off the cushion, which is my first thought. Just drop it in. But I actually don't mind the screw shot as well because there's loads of margin of error. On and off just means you're going down the line more. Yeah, and I'm gonna go on and off the cushion. Path of the cue ball is somewhere here, so it's coming down on a really nice line. all my consideration on controlling the cue ball, I actually controlled the cue ball badly and I haven't got the split I wanted. So now this is going to be one to really scratch my head over and work out. This is awkward. Obvious first ball. I can just drift down the table. I want to leave an angle on this yellow or that yellow to cannon into the cluster and just separation there. That's going to be my first thought. Got an angle on this one. These do open up. They're awkward, but they will open up. But I'm going to get some movement on this cluster first. So cue ball into the 8-ball. Ideally, just full ball on the 8-ball because it leaves me at least the shot on this. If it's just above full ball, then the cue ball might come up this way, and I've got that one as well. So there's options, but really good contact on that 8-ball. Don't have to overhit the shot, just enough to move them open a fraction. That's as awkward as it could have come out. It has opened up a couple of balls, but it is awkward. I am on the 2 reds I talked about. Neither give me good position. Line on this one is going to be going up that angle of the table. Potential to leave me on nothing. And again, the angle on this one is taking me on this line. So again, it's not ideal, but I feel like I've got more margin of error on this one. And it's an easier pot as well. I can actually get a little bit more to the center of the cue ball. So I still can recover this. Came a lot straighter than I was expecting. I don't know if I potted that thin or not, but I thought the cue ball might come down this line. I was expecting to be on that red to the corner, but I'm happy that it's come down thinner. I actually have a lovely angle now. Play the yellow and go into the little cluster again, but a nice controllable pace is the thought here, not overhitting this at all. That's better, much better than the first time round. Now those are open, just picking an order that works. It's trying to work out this little cluster here now. If I can get on this one in such a way I can get the cue ball to here, they will all unfold. So a couple of shots required to get there. In fact, can I do it? I'd rather do it from the 8-ball because the 8-ball is kind of blocking those. So if I drop this one and leave the 8-ball, in fact, I can drop this in, leave the 8-ball straight. That leaves me on this one to come this way. I quite like that. Yeah, so let's just stun this 8-ball in. I was just checking the yellow passes the red, so they both go and it's not going to cause me problems later on. And yeah, stun this in, leave me angle on the red I need. And that's perfect. It's just really bizarre because I've been playing to get to here and I've never given any thought to this ball. I was just like, these balls will come in here. This red I had to get out of the way first, so that's really bad thinking. So now I'm just having to rethink my plans, and I'm a little bit annoyed with myself that I've allowed myself to do that actually. But it doesn't change. I've still got the angle I need to get to a decent part of the table. It's just the thought process was poor. The red does go up to the top pocket, which I don't mind. Drop this on and off the cushion. Yellow over the pocket's my backup. As I say, red up to the top pocket. Just opens things up. I just come back. I don't even have to come back that much, I don't think. In fact, it's still, that yellow nearest the pocket could still cause me some problems. So I'm going to come back far enough that I can pot it and screw into that yellow, leave myself on the red to the opposite middle. Right, things are starting to unfold, even with that very careless error. Just dropping that one in to leave myself on that one. I want to be straight on that one because that will then, these two both go independently of each other. So I was playing that dead weight. A little bit more angle on this than I wanted, but it's still fine. Just potted it dead weight off the thick part of the pocket. And now I can just pick my angle, make my choice. The yellow does go past the red, but for me, if I get on the red just off straight, I can leave the cue ball there or I can come back. I've got options, loads of margin of error. Got away with some bad thinking on that one. Can't believe I was playing for balls in a pocket that didn't go because of another ball in the way. So I'm starting to kind of lose it a little bit in terms of some of my thought processes. But, you know, I caught myself and I was able to reassess, come up with another route, and it still worked. But very strange on that one, but job done. Okay, up to 75 I think that is now. Getting closer to 100 and doing a lot better than I expected to, but let's see if we can keep it going. Again, don't pop the cue ball. Slightly bigger split would be nice. So another congested one. I'm just getting so careful with the break. Don't want to pop the cue ball. It's not great. Need to be much more aggressive, but still got a chance here. These three at the top aren't a big problem, but it might be my starting is playing the red onto the yellow as a plant. Could play the one over the pocket, but what would I be coming on to? These will unfold. I'll get the yellow in the middle, opens up them in there. So no real big problems. These two need a little nudge. I potentially can play on the red, but it's tight. So let's have a look. I think I quite like playing the plant up here and getting the cue ball into the center of the table. I'd like to play this one. I can top it through a little bit top left and into these two, and that will just do all my work in the first couple of shots. That's what I'd like. So let's just avoid the yellow on the way back out, center of the table. Happy with that. I'm not worried about these now. Worry about those later on, and I have a choice. I can play the yellow over the pocket. And it's a little straight, but I can pinch it with a trace of side and get across into the, ideally just cannoning the red half ball would be perfect. Well, I missed it altogether, which is annoying, but I left this one up here for a reason. Do I take it now or not? That is a question. I'm on this one as well. Still don't like playing on that one, so I think if I take the yellow, stun back to here, I can then play the cannon again. That's why we play cannons early. Am I a little straight? Could be a little straight here. Just enough where I can screw into the red. Would rather have been here and being able to play it with more control off the top cushion, and then I can catch it because the cue ball's coming away. I'd be on that one or I'd be on that one, whereas now I'm screwing into it and it could become awkward, but it should still be fine. Just got into the cue ball too much. It wasn't the perfect angle, as I said, and now I'm starting to get awkward. It's so tight. I can certainly hit the jaw. I'm wondering if I play it with an awful lot of left-hand side, if I can just turn the white over, the spin will go onto the red and I can pot it. If I can do that, I've been very fortunate. I'm certainly going to try it. The fact the cue ball is smaller than the object balls helps me on this shot as well. Yeah, just a trace of left. I almost caught the yellow at the same time, but very, very fortunate. I'm very lucky to be where I was. I never would have played for that, and 2 attempts to cannon it out, didn't get them right, so I'm disappointed, but we're back in good shape. We're back where we want to be. Lovely angle on this yellow. Play on this red here to believe myself on the one on the rail. That is the order of the day here. Landed on the 8-ball, which I've just given a little bit of consideration to, but I think I'm going to stick with plan A. I like just rolling through just a few inches, leave myself on the yellow. I can just rest into the 8-ball and red. I'm on the other yellow. I've got the ball up the top here, which is still a safety. Okay, now start to think about the rest of the table. I don't really want these two. I don't want to play this one to get on that one. I mean, I can. It's not a big problem. I just, I mean, I can always play the plant, play it as a plant as well. So do I leave them as my last 2 balls is what I'm thinking. I think right now, I want to clear the 4 at the bottom up. My decision, I think. Now it's starting to change my mind. Tempted to take the yellow, come up to this point here, take the red to come down on this line here, on the one on the rail. And that gives me good choices. I'm still leaving the yellow away from my work. I'm not right over the pocket as well, which is my only argument against it. But I back myself to do that rather than leaving those 2 as my last 2 balls. Just in case that they could get awkward. It's unlikely, but they could. So now I just want to get the cue ball tracking down just above that centre pocket. Would have loved to have been here rather than there. So it's a consideration, do I change my route again, take the yellow and come back down the table? Just concerned about leaving that as my last ball, which could happen if I take the yellow first. But if I take that one now, it's a tougher pot. I'm going to back my cue ball control over my potting. Although the way I've controlled the cue ball in this visit, possibly shouldn't. So I've got a choice, both these reds go, so I want to be on here. Ideally I'd like to be on the red in a way where I drift across for the red down the rail, leaving the 8-ball last. That's my thinking. Yes, not what I wanted at all. Needed to be much lower. I'm now dead straight. I needed to be here, then I could just drift behind. The line was good, but the problem I've got now is if I stun the red in, I've got the wrong angle on the 8-ball. If I take the 8-ball now, potentially, if I play for the red in the centre, it could go wrong. If I take the 8-ball now and top it through, I've got to make sure I leave it short to be on this one. If I'm straight, I've got no shot. So I've worked out a really bad table here, not happy at all. Don't go for too long, don't go too long. Exactly where I didn't want to be. Terrible 2-3 shots on the trot there. So just shows I was here before, I'm on that red. If I make that red, I clear up 100 times out of 100. By not taking it when I was on it, even though I wanted to be better on it, I've put myself in a really bad position. So now it's a case, I'm just off straight the wrong way. Can I punch it through and top through? Can I screw back and come 1, 2 and get across to here? Probably the more controllable shot, but I'm going to get close to this jaw if I hit centre pocket. Don't like either shot, really horrible. Let's play the screw shot. Yeah, overhit it, terrible. This whole visit has been really, really poor. One good shot's all required. Don't have to control the cue ball, just have to make this pot. Very, very fortunate again. That's a couple of times where the cue ball control and decision making in this session has been really poor. So definitely something I need to work on. Really frustrated at the moment. That was one that, and I don't mind this is practice, but that's one that's highlighted my thought process went wrong and a couple of execution shots went wrong, and definitely gets me thinking about how could I have done that whole thing better, what decisions could I have made to make that easier, which is why we practice. It's something I'm learning every single shot I play and every single pattern and routine I try and take out. So definitely one I need to work on though, but got the job done. Lost track a little bit. That last pattern was so bad that I'm annoyed with myself still. Got to forget that and start again on 90. So I'm potentially going to hit the 100 mark on this rack. I'd love to get to 100, be very happy with that. So here we go. Don't pot the white, nice split. Cue ball, cue ball, cue ball. Oh, very lucky. Very lucky indeed, but not that lucky. I haven't actually even left the pot to go out as much as I've not potted the cue ball. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Ooh, what have I got? Oh, potentially the 8-ball. That's a horrible little shot, and the path of the cue ball is going very close to that red. If I flick that red, I'm in off. That's no good. Can I potentially cut that back? Could cut this in the centre as well, which I don't like any of these at all. Oh, I think it's got to be this yellow in the centre for me. I'm so worried about the 8-ball. Oh. Now looking back at the 8-ball and considering it. Yeah, I am just worried about flicking the red, and I just don't want to risk going in off. So, very tough pot on this yellow. It's controllable in terms of the cue ball. Whew. That was definitely a get out of jail. Happy with that pot. Right, let's see if I can pick a better route this time. That last couple have been really poor, which I've not been happy with. Let's see. No real problems, no clusters. Let's work through it. I don't mind these three being my last 3 balls. I could clear this one now, but I've got a nice angle on this one. Drop it in on the one on the rail, which opens up that side of the table, which I'd like to do. Yeah, I think that's my choice. Just drop this in, dead weight, pinch the pocket, shade. There we go. I'm on that ball on the rail. That opens things up. Just going to punch this back out into the middle of the table. Could drop it in and leave myself on the one in the centre, but I'm worried about overhitting it just a shade. So if I come back out on this sort of line, I'm on this one, and that opens it all up. Just don't get into it too much and flick that yellow. Well, I did flick that yellow, so my cue ball control is still very loose here, but I'm still on the ball. On the ball I don't want to be, but that's where we are. I can't quite get to, I'd love to get to the centre of the white and just be able to play the cue ball here, but I'm going to leave, if I drop it in, I'm just leaving myself a fraction thin. I could play it with right hand side and get the cue ball coming out here, which I like, much more margin of error, much more choice afterwards. So a lot of right hand side on that one. So I'm going to drop this one in, leave myself straight on this one. I want to get onto these on the rail as quickly as possible. So that's my one I'm attacking here. So drop this in, roll through. Rolled through a huge amount too far, but I'm going to go the other way and use the 8 ball to get across there now. Let's play the 2 on the rail, and then all the hard work is done. So now it's just a case of making sure I leave a nice angle clearing up these 4 to be on these 3 at the top. Ideally, I think straight on that one. I can then roll it through a nice controllable on the one at the top, or I can come back and I'd have a choice both ways. So just work my way through it. Drop this one in, I like this one. Just trying to decide which way, which order of these 4. Yeah, I've got a choice. Let's drop this in for this yellow. Yeah, straight on that one, stun it in. I can take the yellow into the center and I'm going to drift up on the line I want. So let's just pick where I want to be. Perfect angle, just got to make the pot. And now, yeah, it's about picking, do I come forward or backwards? Just don't get stuck in between. If I go forwards, I'm going to leave myself on the rail, which I don't really like. I could be here, but if I come backwards, just need to come back a few inches for perfect position. Oh, you're joking. You're joking. That's so careless. I can't believe I just missed that. I was just kind of, I'd already thought, oh, job done. I was actually starting to count up actually how many have I just made, and like I want to miss the simplest pot you've ever seen. So silly. That's really, really frustrating. So that's 13 more on top of the, where was I at, 90. So got past the 100. Really pleased to get past the 100, but very, very sloppy not to make. That's so frustrating. But 103, not a bad effort. You know, it's first, as I say, I did it all in one take. So, you know, I'm chuffed to bits that I got past 15, if I'm honest with you, because I thought, oh, if I only get 7 or 8 here, it'll be a little bit embarrassing. But chuffed to bits to get past 100. Although I'm super annoyed with that one. That's going to really annoy me and irritate me for the rest of the day. But, you know, this is practice. That's what we do. You know, that's why we do it. That doesn't actually matter. It doesn't mean anything. And next time I try this, 103 is going to be the target to beat. Give it a go yourself. I want to hear about how you guys get on. Can anyone else get past the 100 mark? It's a decent number, I think, 100. This is a tricky one that can easily, you could see on a few of those layouts that I lost the cue ball quite a bit. Especially once I'd got 2 or 3 racks in, I was almost getting a little sloppy with my work. I'd lost a little bit of focus maybe. I don't know, the cue ball control certainly left me a little bit, and some of my thought processes went a little bit wrong. So, you know, it's one that can easily get away from you. You've got to have a good, clear mind to be able to keep going rack after rack after rack. But it doesn't matter what level you play at, you know, it's a great little challenge, this. Can you get to, first of all, can you get to 15? If you can, then challenge yourself. Can you get, what's the high scores you can get? And of course, I'd love to hear from you. So comment below, let me know your high scores. Let me know what you think of this. Let me know how you think I got on, of course. And of course, if you haven't already subscribed, then please hit the subscribe button and that bell icon. I've got plenty more content on the way. I'll catch you next time.